How's it going, guys? Welcome to On Target Talks, episode 37, believe it or not.
Wow.
37.
So today's...
That's a prime number.
Thanks, James.
Wow.
Fun fact of the day.
So today's stream is going to be a little bit interesting, maybe a bit controversial, but we kind of really want to open a dialogue here. But I'll go to more of that in a bit.
The stream is not controversial. The topics in which we are discussing are.
Yes. Well, like I said, is we won't be stating our opinions necessarily.
Yeah.
But we really want to open a dialogue, and if you probably guessed by now, especially with the title, this has to do with A, gun safety, and B, relating to the incidents of the unfortunate incidents that happened in Las Vegas a week and a half ago now. But before we get to that topic, because it's a very deep topic for sure, let's start with the announcements for
All right. So, guys. It's awesome. So actually something new that we're doing. So grab that paper, James, because on the back of it.
Oh yeah, I thought you were like, what, the news?
Yeah,
we're not doing that yet.
So we have these hanging up around the store. Now, what these are, this is something cool. So show us some love.
Wait, throw the camera again. I'm not sure they can even see it. Let it adjust. There you go. All right.
So what this is when you come in here, if while you're here you make a post on Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat. We started doing bumper stickers, which is pretty cool because now you can just take those everywhere. But you can get a free sticker. If you post on all three, you'll get like the full-size bumper sticker. So that's just something cool that we started doing. So make sure you show us some love on social media. You have to do it when you're here though, and then prove it to us. So there's that. Oh, excuse me. All right, October 20th. We have Pistol Shotgun Night returning. We had some.
Hell yeah. I didn't finish the word, so it doesn't count.
So we've been getting pretty bumping with this. Obviously, you can see these all on our calendar, on our website. You can see these on Facebook, our Instagram. Pistol Shotgun Night on the 20th. Going to be awesome. Been having a decent turnout. It's very fantastic.
Keep talking.
So,
what is this?
Next up.
What is this?
So then we have October 21st is Adult Night.
It pains me as a professional.
I'm sorry. So October 21st is Adult Night. As you know, it's the normal. We're going to be going from 6 p.m. to midnight. Might be talking about ending at 11, but we'll see. There's $20 with your regular admission. It's $35 for all-day admission. So normal gaming is going to end at 6. Then 6 to midnight, it's Adult Swim, no safety kills, 400 FPS, so if you have your outdoor guns, you can bring them indoors. You can do all these kinds of things, and it's super cool. You have that. Transylvanian Terror coming up October 9th, 29th as well, if you couldn't see, you're right down there.
Where's actually the date?
It doesn't say it there, but it says it on the front of the page.
Yeah, if you go down a bit, there's the date on the flyer.
James.
Well,
what
I didn't. Okay, you want to? All right, I have to defend myself now. I didn't write up the little write-up thing there, but there should be the date. On that.
Nope.
Well, one thing about that can easily change.
All right. So October 29th. I thought it was already on the flyer, but it's gonna be awesome. It's a Halloween-themed event. It's going to be Dracula versus the DC Universe. I'm going to be Dracula. Isaiah's going to be heading up to the DC Universe as Batman. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be awesome. Come dressed up as characters, whatever you want. There's going to be a costume contest. Whoever has the coolest or funniest. We judge them by the staff. You're going to win a prize. We're going to have a raffle for that day as well, so don't forget to come down. But pre-registration is the most important part. You get to reserve whatever team you want to be on, and you save $5. So if you and all your friends come the day of, we can't guarantee you're going to be on the same team, and it sucks to suck, but you had your opportunity. So,
yeah,
it's gonna be a good game though. I'm pretty excited for that.
Isaiah's still cooking up some crazy things, so it's gonna be lit. So just come prepared, and there'll probably be like games and candy that you can kind of do on the side, just some neat little activities. So, stay tuned.
Cool. So, and to give a little more detail about how we're gonna run through this stream, a little more organized today than usual, is we're gonna start talking about. This incident kind of brings about the need, a talk for the need of gun safety, both with obviously real guns, and that goes without saying. Usually if you have a real gun, you know to like always keep it in a locked case and all that. But more connected to what this is about is airsoft in general. You know, I have a lot of people I know, they they show up to a field or whatever, and they have their gun sitting in their passenger seat, buckled in, so you know it's nice and safe. But
nice and safe. You're never gonna get hurt in the accident.
But if you ever get pulled over like that, it could very quickly escalate, especially with the kind of slightly more stressed environment that we're in.
Yeah.
After such
Nowadays, we've been running into you've been seeing those kinds of things where kids will go out in the streets with airsoft guns, and something may happen. Sometimes a law enforcement, like it's a such situation that just de-escalates really quickly, or it's sometimes escalates quickly, and then suddenly, you know, it's a sad reality that sometimes kids don't pay attention, and
you'd be surprised.
Law enforcement will. They don't know. You know.
Oh, look, there's a date there now.
Oh, whoa.
It's funny how that happens.
It must just have not loaded the first time.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously, safety in general, overall, entirely is key. But you do run into cases where you see on the news. It's a reality that not everyone follows the rules that they're supposed to, or listens.
Or maybe they might just be ignorant of the rules. Like they might think that it's.
They might think they're
it's just a BB gun, you know, like whatever. Like you grow up in an environment where you're surrounded by people who have a bit more of a lax attitude towards firearms, and then you go into an environment where,
even the opposite. You grow up in an environment where there are no firearms.
Yeah, and so maybe you don't exactly understand the safety behind it.
So that's one of the most. I mean, that's something that we always push. Like whenever we have, one of the most important things here in general at Extreme is safety, but in general, if I'm selling somebody a gun and they don't know anything about a gun, and maybe the parents are concerned too, like, I'll give them a full safety rundown. Like, when we sell guns for the first time to first-time players, we hand out a packet that talks about gun safety, the do's and don'ts, all of these things that you should be doing. Because if you don't do those things and then something bad happens, that's how we get Airsoft taken away from us. You're giving all of Airsoft a really bad name,
And just to talk about some of these things in themselves is, I think we can all admit we've removed the orange tips on our guns.
Yes.
Fortunately, in Rhode Island, and I cannot speak for every state here.
Yeah.
In Rhode Island specifically, the law is that the gun must be sold with a 6mm glazed orange tip.
So federal law dictates.
Yes, federal law dictates.
Every gun in the United States, has to have that orange tip.
No. Every toy gun sold in the United States must be sold with that orange tip.
Yes.
However, it is perfectly legal once you own the gun to remove the orange tip. That is not breaking law. Some people are under the wrong impression there.
Yes.
However, the second you remove that orange tip, that gun should always be treated exactly like you would treat a real firearm.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, even in your house.
I
keep it in a gun case in my closet, out of the reach of anyone. When I lived with my parents, it was out of the reach of my nephew. Because, especially if you live in a household that might have a mix of real guns and toy guns, you should even take more care.
Oh, absolutely.
But this is obviously especially true when you're, example, driving to an event. You might be thinking, I'm going from my house right to Extreme.
Yeah, maybe Extreme's like right down the way.
Right to this field, whatever. And you just throw them in your trunk, guns just sitting wherever on top of your gear, and you go there, and what if you think maybe halfway there you're like, I need to go to the bathroom. And you pull over in a gas station, someone's walking by your car, and they see 6 guns with that orange tip sitting in the back seat, or even the trunk where you think it might be safe if you have like an SUV. And next thing you know, they're calling the cops, and
it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Your guns get taken for evidence, and then you have to go ask for them back. They get broken, something like that. It's just not a fun time. And you're just creating headaches for yourself, for Airsoft, for other Airsofters, for everybody.
Yeah.
The police, especially the police.
Yeah.
Always just wasting their time. Something better.
Or something more important.
Exactly.
So literally, we really try to push gun cases when we sell guns here.
Absolutely.
They're what, like $25?
The cheapest one you'll get is
like $24.99. I think the cheapest one.
Your time for when something bad happens is worth so much more than $24.
Exactly.
You'll save a lot of just effort.
Even me and James both break our guns in 2 to put them in gun cases. Which, it's a little more work, but it makes them nice and small to carry around. Yours is like briefcase. case size.
Yeah.
PTW.
Yeah.
Mine's still long.
I wish it was a hard case. That would have been nice, but oh
You
well.
should just get like an actual briefcase.
You know, so and that's also
Step into staging.
No, next time we go to an event, we can dress as a civilian. You should dress and like go to Savers, get like a cheap suit and like business glasses and like a business hat, and show up with your PTW in a briefcase and just open it up and assemble it on the field.
That'd be gangster as hell, man.
Funny, dude. It would be funny though.
It's always big when you see people roll the guitar cases.
Yes.
That's
especially okay. There's one player customer we have who keeps a Tommy gun in his guitar case. I'm like, thank you.
That's like
You're
actually
doing
what
it
was done.
right.
There's nothing wrong with that. Just,
No, there's everything great about that. I love
exactly.
it.
Go crazy with it.
It should have a case with some kind of lock, of lock. It's less important compared to a real gun. I will admit that.
Yeah.
It's still good if you can lock.
Yes.
Yeah. If you can do something like that,
That's chance of people messing with your stuff.
Yeah, that too.
You
People
know,
like do stuff. They're like, oh man, I did it, and I'm like, I can't see everything. I don't have eyes. Stop misplacing your crap.
Definitely time for a clip bar. My company's got the Rumblies.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Not
no.
sponsored.
Turn it
Clip
around.
bars.
Oh, you said the name. Like,
The Milson meal. The Milson meal.
No, SpaghettiOs. If I'm going to take money from a company to plug for Milson, it's going to be SpaghettiOs.
Gotta be Campbell's.
So, whoever you
Yeah.
are.
Tell Campbell's to go sponsor you.
I'll admit, I've started eating Cliff Bars at events. I used to really hate them, actually.
We're good.
Yeah. Every event I
I
go
actually
to.
think this is a sponsored spot right
Yeah.
now. We're talking. It's not.
But I always enjoy my Cliff Bars at my Milson events. You should totally too. They're easy. I like buy a box or two. I keep them in my stuff, and like anytime anyone's like,
so we can
yo,
just be like, tell me people get sponsors.
Yeah.
Right?
like, help, please.
But is there anything else in safety you want to bring up before I talk some more? You've been kind of quiet this stream.
Let's see. I mean, so we've already definitely gone over, the whole. That was one thing I wanted to bring up was the orange tip thing. And that's exactly what I tell everyone, because you do get a lot of people. Even I've actually had this one mother was purchasing a gun for her kid.
Actually,
She was
can
coming
I
in
interrupt you
from,
for 1 second?
Maybe.
Because I'm not sure you're going to point it out. I do want to say, yes, it's legal to remove your orange tip. Yes, you're more than welcome to. But it does void your warranty from most companies.
Yeah.
If you have a 1-year warranty on your
G&G
gun,
specifically.
I believe Umarex as well?
Nope.
Oh, not anymore. They used to.
Yep. I mean, I always recommend with Umarex to hold on to it, just for any warranty-related things, just to slap it back on there.
Because they usually don't like if you ship guns without orange tips.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess I took a bad time for a bite. But so this one mother, she's actually a police officer, and she was buying a gun for a kid, and she actually brought up the orange tip. She's like, well, the orange tip, removing that's illegal. And I'm like, well, hate to fact correct the cop, but actually, I gave her the whole spiel that we just gave her, and that's one thing that just a lot of people I feel like don't really know is just you just have to be aware that it doesn't void the warranty, but it's also not illegal. And I had a really good point to bring this all wrap up. I'm just
I was going to say, I'm not sure where you're going.
Yeah, I really apologize
I
for this one. But that's like, I always say, you always treat it like a real firearm. Like, that's one thing I can't stress enough. And
Because
you see it like on a Halloween, don't
Halloween
bring your
is,
Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay, this is actually a really
Seriously.
great time
That's a good
to bring
one.
that up.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going...
That's what I wanted to bring, but that's
Yes,
I remember.
okay.
Halloween.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to a friend's house with a limited crowd and you know everybody there, obviously it's not the end of the world. But if you're going anywhere when someone doesn't know you or know what it is,
You're walking on the
or
streets.
if you're on the streets, that is unquestionably a bad idea.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, my friend Jake Blyer could tell you what happens. His actually got stolen at a Halloween party.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
Nice.
unfortunate. It was a really nice G&G build, too.
Oh.
That's sad.
But you know, you got a 4-star, so
It's all good.
it's all the better.
Yeah. But that's extremely unsafe. You make people feel uncomfortable.
Yes, and again, if I were a police officer and somebody, especially somebody my age, when you're talking about like a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old who's on a toy gun, it's probably, there'd be a more...
You can hear the...
Yeah, they're probably a little more reasonable. If someone our age held up a gun at anybody who's police officer, or even someone with concealed carry,
Oh
something
my
like
God,
that.
no way.
You're putting in a situation where they don't know what you're holding.
Yeah, and they have to react.
And I could paint a real gun right orange. And
Yeah, exactly. And
So
that's
they-
my favorite one too. Is you know, like the whole thing of taking. Actually, I'm just really bad today. I do apologize, but that's like my favorite thing about the California laws, for example.
Oh yeah, the California.
So California law, they just passed this. So originally the law was like going to basically outlaw
I was going
any
to say,
sale of airsoft.
theirs, I think, is. I'll still say I don't agree with it, but it's reasonable.
It's reasonable.
It's better
It's a
than
little bit extra.
It's better, like in Australia, airsoft's illegal. You know that?
Yeah, it's
Really?
When they
completely illegal.
when they banned real guns,
They banned
Also
they
airsoft.
also banned replica firearms.
They're trying to
I
make
did
the
not know
move
that.
now. They're trying to put the move on it to get it now to be legal, kind of like.
But either way,
Because
it's like,
paintball's legal, but airsoft isn't. Which
it's
makes
all
sense.
replica
It's
firearm.
replica,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. With California is, I would take if the options were no airsoft or a little orange strip on my trigger guard.
Then I would take it.
You can guess which one.
Yeah,
to go for.
yeah. No, I
Yeah,
mean,
because California, do they do the taste?
so
like,
there's three
you have to
sections
have
that have the orange.
I think you have
orange
about
tape.
5 choices and 3 of them have to
But
have
that's
it.
a
Yes,
is
yeah,
that
exactly.
A point of
So-
sale, or
So
is
yes,
that-
so
Yeah, it's-
any
if
gun
you have it.
sold in California, so so a brick and mortar sale to California or shipped to California. So let's say I purchase a gun from a California-based retailer, I would receive a gun that is normal with just an orange
Yes.
tip. If
Yeah.
I live in California, I ordered it, or I walked into a store and bought one, I would open up the box to find a gun that has around the grip, trigger guard, or there's a few other places, 5 different options.
I believe it's like
in the,
something like
rail
stock,
system. Yeah,
body,
stock, grip, trigger guard, and I think like
body or rail system.
yeah, or like the front of like the
the
barrel.
handguard. You have to
I think
have
it may have been handguard, something
Yeah,
like that. Either way, you have to have
something like
3 of
that.
them at a minimum.
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
Like the grip and the trigger, those are pretty fun.
Yeah, but you know, it's always it's just an interesting law because you know the same thing with like painting a gun orange. Like you know, it's just it's interesting. I mean, I get it was definitely it's just a watered down version of a bill that was a lot more intense, and this was where they compromised on it.
Right, and so the benefit is of getting a law like that passed compared to like, so sometimes is when a bill gets watered down like that, sometimes it's better to say have the airsoft lobbyists just get it passed, because then if you don't get it passed, a more strict version might come the next year.
Yes, yeah,
You get
it'll
it
come back
passed,
and
you get it
force
passed, and
rotate.
it kind of like, okay, that's established, like, you know, it's something everyone can agree on. and
Yeah.
It's reasonable.
Yeah, exactly, and I don't have any issues with that. I remember when I first saw it, I was like, well, that's kind of silly, but, you know, and then I actually did some research into it and what it was before, and I think it's definitely a very good compromise.
They all replica firearms at the end of the day. so.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the whole purpose of bringing it up, you know, it's just to see, I mean, and the thing is, like, and that's one thing, kind of getting a little bit closer to the whole Las Vegas thing, is you know, people, just to deep, or briefly dip into the politics of it all, you know, the day of that happened, you had 3 politicians from both sides, you know, immediately jump on gun control, with 12 hours after the incident, they're bringing this up, and one side of the argument, the right side, you know, they're all like, oh, it's disgusting that they're bringing this up, and they're both going like, oh, both you guys are all disgusting, but one thing that, you know, I kind of took a step back and I'm like, so, yes, there's misinformation and there's you know, political and, you know, agendas,
Well, just
very
to,
obvious,
Just to
but-
for 1 second, I should actually mention in the stream. That's actually the exact reason we did not bring this up last week. Is
It was
facts,
too soon.
So facts were coming in.
Yes.
Facts were still coming in, and we wanted to make
Yeah.
sure we didn't talk about
Has the
anything.
FBI manifesto even been released for it yet?
I mean, if there wasn't one, the FBI has not yet found it. No.
Yeah.
There was a note that's not being released, at least as of now. But either way, the facts weren't all established last week, which is why we chose this week would be a good time to bring it up. And usually in this stream, we obviously like to leave politics out of the stream. However, this is an incident directly relating to the industry we're involved in. So
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of wrap up my point, was that you know, you get people you know, on both sides of it, you know, who are talking about you know, like gun control and all that kind of stuff, and they're just like spewing all this hate. And then, you know, it really was just kind of upsetting to watch it all happen, because these are people, like, yes, their timing is pretty bad, and the way they may have delivered it was bad, But these are people who genuinely care about the American people.
Right.
And yes, they absolutely could have done it better. I mean, this is my opinion. I do apologize. There's different ways to go about it. But these are people who, at the end of the day, they do care about the American people, and that's what they want to see. So I think that's one thing that the whole point of me bringing this up was just that.
Yeah, I was at first when you started bringing it around.
Yeah,
I had
the whole point of me bringing this up is that maybe when you're in the middle of this Facebook war, debating on the legality of or the way that this was handled, you should just take a step back and instead of hating the person that you're talking to, just appreciate the fact that you guys are having a genuine conversation about gun control and how to keep American citizens safe. And I think that's really important and that people are overlooking.
So yeah, we're gonna jump into this topic a little more heavily after we do the news and the product spotlight. However, that's what we're really about here today. Is we want to open up a discussion, not a this is what we think is right, this is what we think is wrong. This is about a discussion, bring up both sides, and we really, really want chat to tune in and tell us what you guys think in Facebook comments,
I got it all
YouTube
over
comments.
And keep it Connor Cadwell is calling you. Chuckles.
What?
Connor Cadwell called.
But yeah, keep the comments clean, but we'll definitely be We'll definitely be talking about bringing up live chat comments while we do this discussion. But like I said, we'll be starting that shortly. Before we do that, let's actually talk about some of the news that James has.
He really outdid himself this time.
I spent a good 20 minutes looking up.
I don't know if you can even say 20 minutes. I was there.
Yeah, right.
There was definitely more than 20. Come on, give me a little.
I can't give you this one, homie.
Okay.
You barely wrote it legibly on a piece of paper.
It is time for the news.
Hello.
So
this is Extreme Airsoft and the news. Tune in at 4:25.
What Top Gear says, but okay. So the first thing that I'd like to bring up on the news, interestingly enough, is the LCT, the G3 LC that is finally going to be released this month in October.
Okay, so James was supposed to give me links.
I was.
Can you believe it or not?
I'll do that for the rest of them. So just look at LCT G3.
Red Wolf they put up a video a couple of weeks ago about it. I mean, they say the thing is heavy as all hell, but
what's different about this? Or am I missing something?
So it's just a new release that's
just by LCT.
And
it's like a nice G3
I was anticipating. No, I'm just kidding.
It's right. It's super the quality looks fantastic.
The funny thing is, I've actually always been a fan of this gun. I know I was just joking around, but no, genuinely,
G3s are cool.
Genuinely, I've always been a fan of this gun. They use version 2 gearboxes, which is kind of nice. They had the SAS one that came from
the shorty
super
one.
short
I was
but,
I
mean, obviously, I'm always a fan of long guns as it is.
Yeah.
Some of these, if I remember correctly, have 3-round burst on them in the real world. I'm not 100% on that. Don't quote me.
They're tasty. They look fantastic though. The finish on them,
the last any decent. Who's building this? Who's OEM?
LCT. Or they're
James.
Yes, LCT. Yeah. Sorry, I received.
What else do they make? Actually, I don't know too much.
LCT. They make AKs. They made the PP19. They make a bunch of
They make really high quality Russian.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going German now, moving east.
Yeah.
So do they do the stamped middle process?
Yes, exactly. So they are on par with E&L.
Okay.
E&L, for those of you who don't know, E&L and LCT are. This is my personal opinion, but generally, I found that the E&Ls and the.
I thought you were really bad at getting
LCT.
your point across.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to be fair and laid out, but I'm just bad at organizing my sentences.
I can tell.
Sentence structures. But so those are some of the most high quality. They use stamped steel. You get it out of the box, and it's it still has that oil finish from the factory.
But you get
it in a really
feel stamped steel. It feels
great.
It feels so different than forged steel. As crazy as it sounds, maybe it's the way it's stretched or something. But you pick up an E&L AK off a wall, and you pick up the G&G Top Tech, and you would think the G&G Top Tech is supposed to be the cream of the crop here. And it has real wood, and it has all this stuff.
Yeah,
but somehow the E&L just feels like a real AK.
Right. It's just right.
It feels right. And I think it has a lot to do with the stamped steel bodies. And,
Oh, yeah.
Are they using the same process for the upper receiver on this gun, you know?
For the stamped steel for this gun?
Yeah.
I do not know. There isn't too many details on that, but if it's
Oh,
true
that's
to an
ironic. I didn't even
LCT,
notice
Yeah,
that.
stamped steel, yeah.
Yeah, it actually says it.
oh,
right
okay.
there on the
So,
link.
geez,
They're
they're
really-
really James.
That's all
Web
right.
shop closed.
You can look it
Okay.
up on our Red Bull. Red Bull has them for pre-order, I think. But they look fresh, and they shot pretty well, it seems. I mean, they said the thing was heavy as heck. Like, that had some, I mean,
Is it
presumably it would have a bunch of decent weight on
I
it.
assume it's going to use the TM style
I'm pretty sure it does.
magazines, like it's not going to be proprietary or anything like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, I always thought these guns are original enough. Now,
I used to have a
I really
G3.
hope someone releases a good rail system for the front end. 'Cause
Yeah, like
there
the nice
is
one.
there is a good G3 rail system in existence. I don't know.
I had one on
like
the quad rail.
to
I had
me-
a quad, or in a tri
to me.
rail.
I think that looks better.
Yeah.
Like
I
it
read
just.
that.
What do you think, Scream?
I had something similar to that.
Okay, doesn't okay with a rail
No,
system.
I did look.
See, that's what I had on. I
Oh,
think
like
my G3.
what do you call it? A PRS style stock on it too. Look at this.
Tasty.
Okay, that looks very good. It's,
Right.
it's a PSG1.
It's
first of
basically
all.
a PSG1 at that point, yeah. But man, that looks good.
It's really
I
fresh.
like PSG1s. I heard the Store Extreme has a really cool HPA one.
Heck yeah, we do.
All right.
All right, so next up, you're just about to receive a link. So this next one up on the news is, you guys saw the, I think it was the DAC system, or the PTW recoil system. You're seeing a lot of these gearboxes that are coming out that have recoil built in them, and you have your basic, the whole like the G&G system or the basic version 2 system. It's been around for a while, but it's kind of like a vibration.
Yeah.
There's a different weight, like a few different guns. I think we can all agree here that the Kinoway, the ERG, at least for
Is the
an
best.
M4, yes, is the best for the price.
Yes.
But this is very interesting.
Well, so one thing is companies like Polar Star and I think even Wolverine at one point have all talked about having an in-buffer tube HPA powered recoil system. And I think
Wolverine,
that
I think Wolverine just dropped their, it's the Quake. They have the recoil sound.
has anyone tried that yet?
I think Giuseppe might have one.
I feel like that has
getting
such
one?
an opportunity to
Should be on
have
site.
a very realistic feel. to
Yeah.
it. 'Cause you have so much more power to deal with.
Check out this though. So this is a split gearbox that uses an actual, not like an actual bolt, but the shape of a real bolt. Like the bolt actually moves back and forth. It is a closable system. It functions just like a real AR. This one is the only reason it's in the news is because it's being released very soon. I think it's actually
That's our patent.
for sale.
Our patent is pending.
But
Because I should complain about people spelling.
yeah, right. But it's a very interesting system. Let's see, I don't know. Let me see if I can find a few better pictures of it. But the way Gearbox works, I mean, it breaks down just like a real AR. I do believe the recoil system is in the rear of the gun, but as in like the buffer tube. And this, it is expensive though. To start off with, it's about a $1,200 gun, so you're getting to that PTW range. But for a recoil gun, that's the first I've seen of the nature that actually has a reciprocating bolt. And I just think it's very interesting to see something like that released.
I'll
Except that
definitely
GBLS.
I'll definitely be very interested.
I wonder if it's better than that the DAS, the GBLS or whatever, the D whatever. It's like a $2,500 gun. Initially, for like the first batch, they sent like 6 out worldwide. They did it just to really. I mean, they were horribly inaccurate. What's his name?
Okay. All right. That's actually.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, it kind of rides on the rail right up top.
And it uses regular AEG mags too, right?
Yep.
Wait,
it uses
really?
Yes,
Yeah.
it actually uses regular AEG mags. So if you look at the feeding system, it
Okay,
is,
so
it does
it
look a
feeds it
little
in.
proprietary.
Well, but I
Yes.
guess I assume the magazine fits into that feeding mechanism.
Yes, precisely.
Huh. All right. I'm interested.
It is a very cool system, isn't it?
It's piqued my interest.
Yeah, so I saw that and I was like, oh, that's what the news.
I need to feel. Now, have you heard? Not to diverge from this. Well, actually, yeah, I guess too. Is have you heard about the railgun airsoft gun?
The railgun airsoft gun.
So let's see if I can find it. Electromagnetic Magnetic Airsoft gun. Wow, I think I actually spelled that right. That's a first. BO manufacturer. I think that's it. Is this it? No, this isn't it.
So what is this?
So it uses, you know how a solenoid works, using two electromagnetic coils to move an arm back and forth. Well, their thought process is you can do the same with a piston.
Okay.
And I don't seem to be able to find any good links. Apparently, it's been being talked about for years, but no, I think this is it. Yeah, BO manufacturing. Okay, yeah. Weird advertisements. This literally has nothing about it.
That's pretty dope.
God.
Don't you love that, like teasers that have absolutely nothing to do with what they're teasing?
It is BO manufacturing.
Like KWA has been sending out emails about their new product they're releasing. They sent out the one that's like the samurai with a sword and everything.
Oh yeah,
like that's all of the previews. It's like photos of that.
Yeah, I think we got to see. I think we got to see the flash hider. Yeah, the flash hider, and then the rest, like the 30 seconds, was just like pan views of a samurai sword. It's like, what is this?
I don't get what they're doing.
What are you trying to sell?
It doesn't make sense.
So I can't find the exact article, but I've seen it before. I mean, here's a Reddit post. But the idea is, yeah, it works like a solenoid, and the thought. This is useful. All right, I give up.
Same.
So the thought process is you can use two magnets and instead of a full piston, you have like a metal thing, and you can move this metal piston forward and back as required to move the piston forward without a spring. And the thought process is that if you use a linear sensor to detect exactly where it is, you can actually slow it down right before it impacts the front of the gearbox, so it's dead silent.
Whoa.
Yeah, very interesting.
And you just have batteries. You wouldn't have HVA lines and all this kind of stuff.
That's pretty.
It's an interesting idea. I'm interested to see if it ever comes to fruition. The fact that it seems that all of the links to all of the details have disappeared leads me to believe that it's not coming to fruition. But I'll be interested to see that in the future.
Well, I'll give it a shot.
So I see I'm getting more links. You want to start talking about the next topic?
Yes. So the next one, this is going to be pretty interesting. Expect to see it landing on our shelves or on our walls pretty soon. This is the new MP40 from Umrax.
Yeah.
James, I don't know what you did, but I clicked that and I got 3.
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
There you go. I'm sending you several links.
Okay.
Oh, dude. Okay.
So they're calling it the Legends MP.
Man, they're just getting all these new guns lately.
Yeah,
Umrax
honestly,
is
Umrax is going to change the airsoft world, and I'm
okay with
not
that.
They
complaining.
just keep innovating.
If they beat the Heat like, I will be so happy.
Yeah, like they're doing it the right way.
Mhm.
They're slow. They're moving obviously slower than e-bike or there's other online
Or
choices,
Center.
but they're doing it the right way.
So these things are awesome. Okay.
I do like all these.
Yeah,
Because I
tell
watched.
about it. Tell about
Okay,
it.
so the MP40, it's all aluminum other than the grips and then part of the lower receiver there. Part of it, it's like the plastic polymer, and everything else is steel, which is awesome. So it's
Steel
supposed to
or aluminum? Either way. I mean to draw my bad.
Oh, they have. Oh, I didn't know they had a video. I saw it on Red Roll. But so the magazines are 60 rounds, but they take 2 CO2 cartridges. So you put 2 of the 12-gram CO2 cartridges in there, close it up. It utilizes a closed bolt
Oh, wait,
system.
they used it in one
2 at the same time.
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't realize
You put
that.
2 in.
Okay.
And it's a closed bolt system, so you hit the mag, rack it, and then you can shoot. They did a test where they got 6 mags out of the 2 CO2 cartridges. So that's 360 shots.
Not bad.
They actually have it selector, so you can have safe, semi, and auto, because they did that because some countries don't allow guns to.
Wait, I'm confused. Was this selector just moving on its own? Is
Yes.
there another place to move the selector?
What do you mean?
Oh no, it's just pictures. Okay.
Yes.
I thought,
Okay.
to me, it looked like it was just. I'm like, is there 2 selectors?
So it does safe, semi, because some countries apparently don't
Don't
allow
allow
full
full
auto.
auto, yeah.
So they have the safe, semi, full auto. I mean, the thing looks awesome, and it sounds pretty cool.
Is this-
Stock folds up underneath.
Is this the hop-up adjust here?
No adjust, no hop-up.
Wait.
The one thing is that it doesn't have any hop-up.
No hop-up?
No
Oh,
hop-up.
you're right. That's behind the barrel.
Yeah. So there's no hop-up or anything, so it's a fixed hop, so you're probably going to be using twos. I think it was shooting about it was about a little over 300, maybe, with twos.
So I assume-
So it'll be like
So it's the perfect CQB.
It's
So
perfect for CQB.
I'm gonna guess this is a Japanese OEM,
I believe so.
like Rushin probably.
Let me see if I can find that out.
That's crazy though. Like I saw that, I was like, oh my god, that's amazing.
My guess is it might actually be KWC, because KWC has been OEMing a lot of.
They do a lot of
Yeah, but
that.
KWC is usually they're Taiwanese, so they don't have to stick to the 280 FPS thing, which it seems from what Dan was describing.
Yeah, it was like 300 and under PS when they fronted it with a 2.
Okay, but yeah, so that's we can definitely go more in depth on that, in a product spotlight in the
Yeah.
future.
Hopefully, I
So
hope
it reminds
they
me of
come in.
this, the Rushin FP40.
I hope that they come
Okay.
to the US soon. It sucks that Asia gets all the. I mean,
I
obviously
just
they
don't
do,
see much of that.
but it sucks
Yeah.
that they get all the cool stuff. Like they get stuff like, oh yeah, we have the new MP40. I'm like, god damn it! Why don't we get it? Give it to us. Like,
Well, we get Gen 3 night vision, so
That's true.
you can't really
So,
complain all that much.
everyone else can suck it.
ITAR,
I
baby.
guess.
So next up on the list is the V3 Titan.
Ah,
That was announced early last week. The V3 Titan, for those of you who don't know, or the Titan Gate MOSFET, is a fantastic MOSFET. It uses light sensors.
With check engine codes.
Yes, it uses light sensors to operate the gearbox. It detects cycle completion with a light sensor. The trigger has 5 different light sensors, and you can tell it at which point on the trigger pull will it actually fire, as well as the selector is powered by the light sensors as well. So there's no physical switches in there, which is actually, hopefully will be very reliable in the long term. We've been doing many builds.
I just did one on, if you know Kurtap, or Patrick Roy, I just did one on his gun that he brought to that op in Pennsylvania. He seemed to be a very big fan of it. So
Yeah, no, they are
Yeah.
awesome.
If you want the best right now,
Very reliable too. The
Yeah.
only one that we've had broken was the first one we brought in. After that, we have built, I don't know, maybe 15 guns with the Gate MOSFET in it.
remember how
And
that
there's
first
several-
when we came in, this should actually say something about their quality and customer service. Because we were like, well, it seems like this top board isn't working. We took the top board from a different one to put it
Yes.
on, and they were like, don't do that. They're designed to work like with a specific one,
Yeah.
and like they're matched together, so they're most prime. We're like, but it worked.
Yeah, exactly. So, so we had emailed the company when we first got it, like, hey, we had an issue with this. We were able to alleviate it by pulling off the defective part, replacing it with a part from a different one, and that worked. And so I think they're a Polish company, and the first line in my reply was, or their reply to me
shouldn't have done
was,
this.
you should not have done this. They are calibrated specifically with each other, and we're like, okay, well, it worked.
I assume because one side is the light, one side is the receiver.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
probably they calibrate the receiver to that specific light. So I'm sure
Yeah.
their QA is probably close enough that
Yeah.
you know they're fine.
They're
At the end of the day.
super cool. You can plug it into your computer with a computer application, and like I said, you can read.
you can literally you could set so many different things. You can do 1, 2, 4, 6, 8,
Cool.
10 round bursts. You can do pre-cocking. You can do.
Cool. I was just saying, the cool thing is about really the USB option too, is that if you could be like, my gun doesn't quite sound right, or maybe it's feeling a bit sluggish, something like that. And just like your car can run with a check engine code, but you're like, it doesn't quite feel right. And you can plug in your gate, and it'll pop up all the errors it's gotten like through the last 10 cycles of power on and power off. And be like, oh hey, like we had a motor
It will
jam
tell you all
error.
of the problems. Whatever it is, every code is like, this is the problem. This is what you have to do very specifically. Like, and you'll have like 3 or 4 for every single like
Right.
option it is. It's like,
I guess
okay,
we
this
should
is the
actually
battery. Is your voltage low? Is this? Is this? Is this?
We should
So
start talking about what's different about the V3, I suppose. Though I should mention probably one of the funniest things about the check engine codes is that, like I said, the very first one we got in that wasn't working right. We're like, cool, we have all those codes, but they hadn't. It was so new they hadn't yet released what the codes meant.
yeah.
So we're sitting here like, oh cool.
EV1-A,
And you can
like What?
And you can upload. You can like they have updates to the software for it, so you can when you plug it into your
firmware
computer,
updates.
you update it. Super cool.
Yeah,
So
you can update
V3.
MOSFET, yeah.
So they only have the V2 out right now. So most anything
So-
with an M4 base, M4s, MP5s, SCARs, stuff like that, will be able to use that.
So is this V3 as in version 3
Version
gearbox?
3 gearbox.
Yes.
Okay,
Yep,
cool.
for your AK
Cool.
or other.
AKs, G36s,
MP5Ks.
I hate the whole like, is it version 3 or generation 3?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Airsoft.
No, they're version 3 for your AKs. I'm gonna drop that in my. I'm gonna drop that Magpul AK forever. I'm gonna do that once that thing comes out.
T3.
So if you're looking to make your AK super fresh,
Yeah. These
Heck
are
yeah.
these
look
are
towards
fantastic.
Probably December.
Did I see there was
They'll
one
actually
more?
be
Yep,
released.
there's one more. The Cyber Gun released a Desert Eagle in gas blowback.
They did, yes. Like,
Oh, yeah, I
gas
saw
blowback,
that.
gas
You
blowback.
only
So
sent
that
me a
should be
picture.
interesting. What?
You only sent me a picture.
Yeah, because that was really the only thing I could
There was
find on
there's
it.
a video.
Not
They
even
had a
video on it?
Not even a news release.
It was on the Airsoft
Maybe.
news page that we were looking at.
Here's
They have
the
a
picture
shooting
Jim
video.
sent me.
The thing's got a decent. It looks like it's got some decent kick, and it doesn't look like the
It just
gas efficiency is absolutely
Really, I just need one that's reliable.
Yeah,
That I'd be happy with a reliable Desert Eagle.
yeah.
And I also love with the original Desert Eagles, they had the spot for the sight mount,
But it doesn't work.
but you can't put any sights on it. Nothing
That's dumb.
fits.
That's literally.
It'd be kind of
They
cool
didn't
if
measure
they
it, right?
fixed that. Yeah, exactly. Like their hand slipped or something when they're measuring it.
Dude, it's
Yeah.
but it looked pretty fresh in the shooting video I saw. Dude, I don't know. I mean, Desert Eagle magazines are huge, so I imagine that the gas reservoir is going to be
That's a good
decent
point.
size.
Yeah. Use
So,
the whole can for you guys.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
right.
shot what looks like it was at least 2 mags, and it didn't look like it was petering out at all. So, hopefully that'll be coming down the line at some point soon. I don't know when, but
One more thing too, it's not on the list.
ooh,
As I finished my bar of Cliff Nature. Is that we also have the new
Oh.
Classic Army microphone.
Yeah.
yes, we just got them
finally
today.
landed.
So yeah, they were, Isaiah out in the store was just unboxing them as I walked in, so we sadly didn't have enough time to, because there's a little bit of assembly required. We didn't have enough time to put it all together and do a shooting video for you. Expect
Next
to see
week.
that for the next week's product spotlight, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And possibly for a,
And probably you're going to see a review on that.
yeah, a review on that. So we do have 4 of those in here. We've already got a lot of interest on them, so if you want to see them before, they're gone, I definitely recommend.
There's not a lot of them. Most of the places, like most.
There's a
of
very
the-
limited amount I was
yeah.
able to acquire, and that was it.
Yeah.
Very cool guns though. We got the chance to actually work with one at night out
Oh,
in
yeah.
Justice.
That was such a good time. That thing is just wreck shop.
Yeah, it's cool. You guys will see it. You'll like it.
All right,
So-
homies.
Speaking of product spotlight, even though I feel like we've been advertising for 10 minutes here, but that's okay.
It's all
So this gun, I've been so tempted to
I
buy
should
it.
have grabbed it.
This is, it's not quite on the level of UMP in terms of, yeah, what? Go grab it.
Yeah.
God damn it, Dan.
I'm sorry.
So this isn't
I
quite on the
did-
level of UMP, I need it, but nonetheless,
I need
the
it.
thing's awesome. It uses, correct me if I'm wrong, it uses KWA's L4 gas system, correct?
Yes. Yep. It does use KWA system,
Okay.
which is nice. I mean, it's the best
Which
gas
is nice.
pullback system. Yeah, which is nice. And hang out with Dan for too long.
So it has Mega Arms branding for the upper and lower. A really, really nice upper sound. I really like that, the billet style upper like that.
Oh yeah, gorgeous extra.
Like
by
real
far.
gun or airsoft, just it looks so nice. It is a full open bolt system, just like the LM4, as you would expect. How cool it actually worked this time. The just overall great
I
external.
mean, you pick it up. I mean, PTS knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, one of the
with
best
externals.
externals I've seen, hands down.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a question. Just especially like the rail. Like I like the NSR style like rail to body interface there, where it's just clean lines.
Yeah, where it all becomes one. Yeah.
T-mod, it's just it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Pleasure to shoot too.
Yeah, here's I think we have a couple goes of Dan shooting full auto. Gonna see if the audio works here. Yep, there we go. Let's see. So obviously, as with any gas blood M4, gas efficiency is not incredible when you are shooting full auto. These are really designed to be steady, short burst guns.
Exactly.
Don't expect to dump the whole magazine.
Chuckles approves.
I click next. Yes, it's working today. Another one. I think this is another full auto burst one.
This one's fun.
But you're dumping like the whole mag here, right?
Yeah, this is a whole mag.
So I mean, it got through a mag. You definitely get that cool down a little bit. Nothing.
Bam, MKM, CQB.
And then some semi-auto here. Again, I've always said it. I really want a gas blast only.
Yeah, and just look at the difference in how it performs on semi-auto.
Yeah, exactly. It's a semi-auto machine, just like any gas blast.
That's what I was.
And fact of the matter is, if you're dumping on full auto with a gas for that gun, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Crack it? Did you break it? There you go.
Semi-auto gun on gas blow. That's interesting. Can we fire shot on this?
Yeah.
We shot balloon out of the air the other day with this.
Oh yeah, that's great.
It's pretty good tech.
So they do make other models of this. They do make the a 308 model with a full-length barrel as
That
well
thing's
as
pretty crazy.
a
They better
standard
release.
rifle length.
They
with
better
the-
release. If they have a 308 model, they better release an SR25 model. They
That would be
literally
cool.
have all the parts.
That would be cool.
It's just putting them together.
I would like to see that.
Because like there needs to be a good
At the end of the mag.
yeah, right. Gas blowback SR25 in the market. Now, again, what practicality is it to have? I don't know, but it's effing awesome.
Right there.
There we go.
So those things
What do you
are-
guys think in the chat anyway? Let us know.
Yeah. I mean, the thing's pretty sweet. It's got some. I mean, it's an LM4, so the kick on it's really crisp.
Reliability is very good. I wish let me say this though.
Right.
Love the gun. I wish KBWA would fix the stupid feed ramps.
Yes, that's the.
The nice thing about KWA though is that you have
You can order
you
it.
can always order
Oh
it
yeah,
there.
but like the one thing that bugs me about KWA, they're so bad at admitting they have a design flaw.
Oh yeah. They won't
Like
tell
VFC has a design flaw and they fix it. KBWA is like, no, we're gods. Our
No,
gun is
we're
perfect."
untouchable.
Just, I know we have to sell you 8,000 feed ramps because they always break, but
Other than that, great.
yeah. But either way, I mean the gun's awesome. The feed ramps are what, a $5 part, and they're pretty quick to replace.
Yeah. Really easy.
I just, it's literally been a design flaw for like 5 years now. It's making me mad that they just haven't fixed it.
Yeah, right.
As an engineer, it makes me upset. But
Very nice.
yeah, it's probably one of the best gas systems you can get in the market for an AR stock gun.
Absolutely.
This looks really sexy too. Like if you want a sexy looking.
I love shooting real steel guys.
They're like,
that gun.
what?
Then when you open it up and they're like, wait, there's a trigger grouping in there? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And a bolt, you pull out the bolt, they're like,
What?
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 Yeah, that's a mind blowing.
I do love the mind blown, like, what?
It is great.
It's such a satisfying. Just put that near the bike for one good, like, set. So good.
It's good.
So
It's
good.
very good.
But do we want to finally get on?
On target?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm game.
I'll let you open up.
What?
So
Okay.
again, if you're just tuning in, we're going to spend some time opening up discussion about the whole gun rights, gun control
Yes.
thing. That
If you,
especially after the incidents of last week. in
actually,
Los-
Dan, can you hold up there that gun and then hold the trigger next to the microphone? I have a request in the comments for that. So
Sure.
it's
Crisp.
yeah, it is Chris. I mean, I guess an up close video would be a bit better with that. But
The reset's
it was a
really
comment
More than our
request.
720p.
Yeah.
Alright, what did I fire too much?
The reset's like nothing on it.
Yeah.
But like I said, we're going to talk a little about the gun rights, gun control discussion here. Especially after the incidents in Las Vegas last week, where, almost
58 people
58
died,
people.
500 plus people.
Now,
injured.
okay, the one thing I do want to fact that I can't seem to get clear. Is it 500 people injured by bullets, or a lot of people injured by tripping over other
I think it's a
things?
combination of both.
Okay.
But the overall incident saw 500 injured, whether it be whatever.
Because it'd be panic ensuing can cause a lot of injuries.
Oh yeah,
Right.
and you know, and I've read a couple, you know, articles or you know, like first-person reports, videos, of people talking about their experience, and a lot of them, you know, when this whole thing was going down, is you know, they would rather, one person said they'd rather run out in the open and risk taking a bullet than getting trampled by people, because at one point the crowd was just this massive wave of people pushing. You know, it's
the human reality.
yeah, exactly, and you know, it's very very similar to the whole 9/11. It's either you burn alive or you jump kind of thing. You know, it's obviously I guess not as intense.
I wouldn't have
with that.
used that analogy.
Yeah,
but
it's still it's a tragedy like that, and to see something like that happening, and of course after something like this happens, no pun intended, these sights are set on guns and gun control and stuff like that. The weapons that he used, if you've seen pictures of the hotel room that he was in, primarily the full auto fire that you're hearing is not actually full auto. I know a lot of people are throwing around the term automatic fire. I'd like to clarify that a fully automatic gun is very illegal and very hard to get.
Well, so that's what makes this incident so scary. Is, to be clear, all of his weapons were 100% legal.
Well, 100% legal, exactly.
Yeah.
And so he used a system. It's called a bump fire stock, and I don't know where you guys may have been seeing how this works. It depends.
Don't bring it to other news agencies.
I'm not talking of news agencies, but I'm just saying there's a lot of misinformation with how the system works. And a quick kind of basic summarization of how a bump stock works is it exploits the recoil. It exploits the recoil that an AR-15 puts out, allowing you to gain the trigger, allowing you to have a faster rate of fire. What essentially it's doing is the stock of the gun, the part that is held up against your shoulder, and your hand holding the gun and also on the trigger is in a static position. So if you see right here, I'm going to use Dez's mouse to show it. So this entire system, thank you. So this entire system right here, everything on the grip, this does not move. This, however, is attached to your gun. This is the buffer tube. This does move. The entire gun and everything, what would be in front of this, does move. And so you keep your finger on the trigger right here, and since the gun is moving back and forth, that trigger
moves the trigger
yes,
back into your finger.
Exactly. So it pushes that trigger back into your finger, thus pulling it, thus firing it, and then completing that cycle. So it's exploiting the recoil, and I don't know, maybe.
I mean, the price in its alone gives you an idea.
Exactly, $100 to get what is essentially a full auto gun, and from an engineering standpoint and just from a shooter standpoint, it isn't a very good system. Just because when you have the entire rifle moving like that, it isn't very accurate.
You don't have as much control over
yes,
it. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people argue a very skilled shooter can shoot a.
Can control something like that. Oh, absolutely.
But nonetheless,
but when you have a crowd of people, you
don't need to go south.
Exactly. And that is really the.
But Chad, what's your opinion on the whole bump fire stocks? I mean, that's probably one of the most important things that's being discussed right now. Even the NRA has said they want the ATF, which is probably the first time this has happened. The ATF has already ruled bump fire stocks are completely legal.
Yes.
It's not any kind of gray area. ATF said, nope, bump fire stocks are legal. And even the NRA right now is calling for the ATF to take another look at whether they should be considered class three items or stick in the fully legality thing.
Check your Facebook. I just linked you to a GIF of how the system works.
Okay, cool.
Just in case, I feel like I explained it pretty well, but just in case I didn't. But even so, yeah. So that is actually very interesting because you have the NRA, which is usually like more guns.
They usually don't want you to touch anything.
Yeah, but they're kind of coming around because it's. Really, does anyone need something like that? And
right.
That's what this kind of.
Okay, so I don't like to use the need argument.
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't need a race car, but I sure as hell
exactly.
want one.
Yeah.
So
Air-15, but, yeah.
Right. It's just to be fair, the need argument I don't think is a fair one to use.
No, that's a good one. Thank you for correcting me on that one. Yeah.
However, we can all agree no matter what side you stand on, what happened was an absolute tragedy. It's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Whether the guy was acting alone with other people, he was a terrorist. He was trying to induce terror.
Yep.
Not taking any political stance on any of that kind of stuff.
That's
terrible, absolutely terrible thing.
Yeah, that's what it was.
The scary thing is facts say, for a time this used to happen on an average of about twice a year, which some people would say is statistically low enough that bad things will happen, bad people do bad things, and some people argue it's statistically low enough that you're more likely to get struck by lightning. And to be fair, it's kind of a little similar argument with immigrants, but that's a whole other one.
Yeah.
It's a valid point. It's incredibly rare. It has increased to an average of, I believe it's 3.7 times a year. That upward slope's not a good thing.
For like a
serious mass shooting like this. And I think we can all agree that is a true fact. It's been done, and something needs to change.
Yeah,
I think we can agree.
That's the one.
We can agree on all sides of the equation here that something needs to be.
Yeah, and I'm usually pretty close to like leave me alone. Don't touch my stuff. But and usually you see these incidents happen, and normally my response is just going to be great. Now we get to deal with gun control. But this time I'm actually more willing, especially willing to kind of engage in that conversation because I think that, like I said, I really agree that something could be.
If you're watching the chat, I would actually really like to hear your guys' opinion on if you think that nothing needs to change, if you think that this is just a really rare incident, and there is a valid argument there that if you look at statistically, it's something like there's actually a very funny infographic I saw earlier today. It was saying like 23 people a day, 23 people a year died by slipping into their bathtub.
Yeah.
Which until this incident was still a greater number of people than the average number killed in an incident like this.
Yeah.
Though so like I said, I would like to see the chat's response on.
So actually, Chris on YouTube has brought up a few things.
Yeah.
So he's actually a speed software. He comes here very often, and on the topic of slide fire or bump fire stocks, he said he doesn't like them. Technically, it's not mulatto, but it's like trigger spam in Airsoft. It can be fun, but it's not necessary. And it's funny because coming from someone who's generally the play style is to trigger spam. It is awfully funny, but it is true though. It is absolutely true. He also says, this was an earlier comment, but more on the topic of gun control. He says, I believe in more in-depth background checks, but not limiting mag capacity, bullet buttons or SPRs or full auto semi-automatic guns. So he feels that there needs to be a more in-depth vetting process to purchase a gun.
And that seems to be a lot of the argument right now. Is either a mix of mental health checks. I've seen that. The Trump administration actually, that was during his run, that was one of the things he pushed is for mental health checks on weapons, for the sale of weapons.
Yeah.
Which I think that kind of filtered away the further he got towards the presidency because he really needed the conservative vote. But nonetheless, that was definitely been on the table a few times, and it has its pros and cons, and I'm not going to go too heavily into it at the moment. They're both significant big pros and significant big cons, so there's definitely some controversy there in itself. Further background checks, but then some people would again argue is that in our Bill of Rights it's listed as a right to own a gun, and to tell someone they have to be vetted before they're allowed to have a right is difficult constitutionally.
It's not exactly a right.
Well, our Bill of Rights, that's the Second Amendment. It's called the Bill of Rights, and it lists 10 rights that you have as a citizen of this country, and it's listed as a right. I mean, that is definitely a non-gray area. Some people would argue it is actually fair, but either way, it's not like it's not a right to drive, and that's why we can license you to be able to drive. And that definitely brings up some discussion. So right is the whole right versus not.
Exactly.
I mean, but it's like you also have, your freedom of the press, freedom of speech or whatever, but like,
just because
you can't use, just because you have that right, like, to
Couldn't, or
Just
could,
because you
could
can
and
do
should.
it. Yeah, just
Could
because
and
you
should
can
are
do
two
it,
different
you
words.
should. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I can say what I want, but should I say what I want? Like hate,
So-
like we can probably agree that like hate speech is pretty unacceptable. You know.
Well, it's one of my
Yeah.
favorite things is, you know what the difference with the First Amendment, you know what the difference between could and should is?
Shh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So.
I like that.
That's a good one. I actually have not heard that one before. Yeah.
So it's like kind of like an ask, you know, like everything is guaranteed to you, but you also, in some way,
Well, yeah, so I know what you're saying, yeah.
I don't want to.
Right. And I think what really is the scariest thing about this whole incident is really two things. First of all, is the fact that all these guns were 100% legal.
Yeah,
He literally-
everything was legal.
He didn't, and I'm pretty sure in Las Vegas you're allowed to keep a firearm in your room, even. I can't guarantee that. I can't say.
What, of the hotel?
Yeah. I can't say because I mean there are a lot of shooting ranges out there and all that. I haven't looked at the exact regulations.
I know Las Vegas is
hotel.
very strict with firearms, though.
But then they have a lot of shooting ranges.
Yeah.
So, but either way, I'm not sure there. But basically, until he broke that window and started shooting, he hadn't broken any laws.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part about this. Is all the all the laws we have right now wouldn't have been able to prevent this.
Yeah.
But should I look at this on stream that you just sent me?
Oh yes, yeah. So I just sent you a picture of the hotel room, just so.
Okay, is this
a
No,
graphic
no,
stuff?
there's not no.
You 100%.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there's the legs of him in the background,
Okay, then
but
no, I'm not putting that on stream.
that's it.
That'll get us pulled from YouTube.
Okay.
It will.
But anyway, but if you look at the pictures, I'm sure if you Google it, this one will show right up. But he uses the Surefire 100 round 5.56 magazines.
Mhm.
That's another thing that's been brought up, along with the slide fire stocks. When you combine those, you have what is
Machine gun.
it's what is it essentially operates like a machine gun.
Yeah. I was actually sorry. The one thing I wanted to finish saying though is the other really scary thing about this incident is it shows how much damage someone that actually has some form of skill can do.
Yes, exactly. And I had said that a few days after, regarding the topic. Like, this is what happened. Like,
A lot of these previous incidences are done by angry people
Yeah.
who obtain a firearm and they do terrible things, but they're not trained.
Yeah,
to use
they don't put the
firearms.
planning into it.
Right, and
it's amateur hour. And but once you but when you have someone who actually puts the forethought and planning into this, they can do some terrible, terrible things.
right.
And that's really the scary part.
Yeah.
Because normally, usually it's not as bad.
Right.
Right.
No, I understand where you're coming from. It's crazy. Anything in anyone say anything in chat? Interest?
Nothing yet. Let's
Okay.
see. Nothing yet. I sometimes have to refresh Facebook
Okay.
to get into it a little bit, but nothing still.
But I was going to go to next. Is like I did read that. Oh, that's what I was going to go into. So one of the interesting topics as well about this, whole debate that's been coming up is obviously yes, these mass shooting incidences are what really bring the attention to the gun control debate. But there's also gun control / gun rights. I'm going to use them interchangeably here. I'm not trying to take a side. Is the fact that it is more than about just these mass shooting incidences. It's about day-to-day crimes and gun violence as well. And I saw a statistic the other day saying about 85% of gun sales. And again, the statistic and the unfortunate reality is you can't believe every statistic you read. But nonetheless, they estimate 80 to 85% of guns are illegal or people obtain guns illegally. 85% through straw sales.
Straw sales?
Straw sales is I say, okay, I have a federal crime on my record, so I can't own a gun. I say, but I really want one, and so I ask you to go buy a gun under your name, and then you sell me the gun.
Okay.
That's a straw sale. It's completely illegal, but there's unfortunately no way to
Really
to
regulated.
regulate or track.
Oh, just holding my buddy's gun, no big deal. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that opens up some issues as well. is, and that's where I think a lot of that's part of the whole gun show loophole they're talking about, where there's no waiting period and no real vetting process if you buy a gun at a gun show. And all of those certainly have a place in this conversation as well.
Yeah.
And what's your opinion about that?
About like straw sales and stuff
Well,
like
not
that?
your opinion, but like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As your opinion about the topic, not necessarily your opinion on how you fix it.
So it is a very interesting topic. I mean, without going too deep into opinions, I mean, I think it should be fair across the board when you purchase a firearm. At least, I mean, disregarding the whole straw sales thing, you know, like, yes, there's a way to go around the system, but all in all, you know, with like the gun loop and everything like that, I think you know, there's some kind of legislation where you know, just like in universal firearm purchasing system, but that's all I'll really talk about. You know, how I feel about that, but yeah, it is a very interesting you know, loophole that kind of was found, and how did that loophole even come to be? Really, that's my question. Is like, how did
What do you mean?
like
when you buy straw sales?
When you buy a gun, because the straw sales, that's just people getting around the system. That's, you know, it's really hard to regulate that, like you had said. But the whole gun show thing, because
well, similar idea is like you go to a gun show and everyone meets up at this convention center, and you buy a gun from someone. You can't say that, you know, that person doesn't want to ship it to you in 7 days, so they sell it in person.
So these are private sales, is what you're talking about.
Yeah, private sales sometimes through stores that go to these gun shows, like, you know, like shot shows.
So an FFL shows up and sells you a gun on the spot, and they have to do a background check for you.
A little more complicated than that, but
that's what I'm a little confused.
I mean, this
about.
isn't like shop show. Like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like shop shows.
Yeah.
It's like different. This is conventions. And
Yeah, exactly. I get that.
But either way, it's people being able to obtain a gun without a background check, whether it be like private sales most commonly.
Yeah.
And again, it's kind of like a long way around a straw sale, nonetheless.
Yeah, and that's always been interesting too. You know, the whole like private sale thing too. Like, you know, you buy a gun from someone privately, and I mean, you do have to change over. You do have to go through an FFL to that. Correct?
You're supposed to.
You're supposed to, yeah. Yeah.
Whether that's done
frequently. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I was thinking, sorry, on the family aspect of things, when I turned 18, I really wanted to have a pistol, like really bad. Like that was like what I really, really wanted. But in Rhode Island, and I think it's federal, you have to be 21 to own a pistol. And so I asked my dad. I'm like, Dad, so can you please buy a pistol and then gift it to me, and then I can legally own it, because it's not illegal for me to own it, it's legal for me to purchase it under the age of 21. And that's at least what my research said of me. I don't know if that's changed or if that's completely wrong, but that's my understanding of it. Of course, he said no.
As you should.
Absolutely.
As you should.
Good job, Dad. Thank you. Me back then was probably not as smart. I'm sure tomorrow I'll say.
I saw we were friends on Facebook as of 3 years ago today.
Sweet.
And it's just funny to think, you 3 years ago was more of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, right. Was even more of a pain in the ass. Yeah, but I mean, you know, it's one thing to get family members in on, you know, the illegal purchase of firearms. But I still think it's legal.
You phrase that.
Yeah, the way I phrase that, because I was trying to bring that back into, you know, like how it could be used maliciously. But I didn't really bring up that fact. I just, Classic James.
Much alike.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, there really could be, you know, there could be some change onto how the whole system is regulated.
One of the common things discussed is frequently brought up by the right, and actually it's pretty frequently brought up by, I was getting left and right and stuff, either way, by the more liberal side of gun control. And sometimes agreed upon and very heavily disagreed upon on the gun rights side is the idea of gun registry. Now this has obviously some massive pros and massive cons, and let's talk a little bit about those without stating our opinions here.
Yeah.
So obviously it has the benefit of a gun is registered to your name when you buy it, and you're made responsible for that gun. You're a lot less likely to go sell it to somebody else without going through an FFL.
Yeah.
And you're more inclined to keep it in some place that's like super safe.
Right.
Anybody potentially.
And more likely to report if it gets stolen. you know, and things like that. Is there a comment? I see you're reading things.
Yeah. So Andrew Baines, he said, first off,
What's up, Andrew?
Oh, really? You know?
Oh,
Okay,
he said I missed this dude. He was literally my best friend all through high school. And
oh, shoot.
Well, college and all that.
He has a compliment for you. He said he loves podcasts. It's his first time tuning in, and that he said, good point, bringing up the regulatory issues in private sales. It's really capitalism at its finest. As long as there's a demand, there's always going to be a supply. Yeah, that's
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's funny. So obviously there's some massive pros and cons. I mentioned, you know, a big pro, but you know, a huge con is, and I totally understand, a lot of people don't like the idea of the government having a list of who owns every privately owned firearm, because if you ever did have a government that was, you know, it's that whole slippery slope kind of thing. Is now they say, oh, we're going to collect all the guns, and here's our list.
Yeah, and people with the most, they're at the top.
Right, and so, you know, there's definitely some discomfort to be had there, and I completely agree. Now, I will say one of the things that makes America uninvadable, and I won't say uninvadable full stop, but nearly, is that we live in a country where if someone did try to invade our country, nearly every person would pick up an arm and fight back, because we're an extremely prideful country to a fault.
Yes.
We're prideful to a fault.
Yeah, that's why we're the best country in the world.
Example that.
America!
So, but on that note is, because of that, you know, basically almost every person will pick up a firearm and fight, and it's because there's firearms. We have more firearms in this country than we do people.
Yeah.
It would make this country incredibly difficult to invade. Not that that's a risk of any time near, you know.
The enemies will just nuke us.
But the concern is, once again, if you have a registry, now you have a list of where all these guns are.
Yeah.
And that's uncomfortable in its own right. And if you have anything to add to the pros and cons?
The pros and cons of a gun registry, I mean, you definitely can see some, you know, like you were saying earlier, some good things about that. Like you can see if maybe someone's stockpiling guns, you know, like, you know.
You're right, so that's certainly a pro. Like this guy had, what, 47?
Yeah, something. He had like 20 in the hotel room and then 20 back home.
And on the same token, a gun collector might have
a couple
200 guns.
Exactly, and you know, as a gun collector, especially in today's day and age, would it really be so bad if the government was just checking up on you? Just like, hey man, you have like 300 guns. Like,
it's an interesting option.
Is that too far? Is it too far?
Well, that's a good question. Some people would argue, I'm exercising a right. Why do I have to have the government come and bug me about it all the time?
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, I personally like if someone was just like, hey man, you bought 3 guns in the last year, like.
Good.
Yeah, like not like you're good, but mind if I inspect them? Like, you know, like I don't know, like
or just like, what do you need these for? What is the necessity for having this many
guns?
Again, if you're a collector and you have them like on your wall, then I could be like, oh, okay, well he collects the guns, and that makes sense.
Well, on the same token, I return to the do you need it argument is not valid.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And I mean, if you follow me on Facebook, you know, I did post a bit of not a rant, but a discussion about this the other day. And I actually did use that don't need argument, and I shouldn't have. And a lot of people responded, and I appreciated the discussion, and they brought up good points. Don't need is not a good point to use, because there's a lot of things you don't need in this world, but we sure as hell want.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I don't need a race car. I can't give you any valid reason why I need a car, or I want a car, or a Lamborghini, or a Ferrari, other than I want it.
I want it, yeah. Go away. And hey, have you ever watched Jim Jeffries?
No, I guess I have.
So he's pretty anti-gun. He's an Australian comedian.
Okay.
Especially Australian, so obviously he'd be probably anti-gun. But you know, he brings up a couple good points, and go watch his special. It's really funny. But at one point,
he the one that he's Jim Jeffries? I'm trying to think of his name. He has that weird laugh, right?
Yeah. He's a real funny guy. Most of his stand-up specials, he gets drunk, so as he goes on, he gets progressively more trash.
Either way.
Anyways, yes. So you know, he has this whole routine about gun control, and I'm not going to go into what he says in specific, but at one thing he's like, but really, you know, there's a lot of arguments for and against owning a gun, but really, the only real true reason that you are allowed to have a firearm is, I like guns, leave me alone. Like, go away, I like it.
I would argue with that pretty substantially, but...
Really?
I mean, there's a serious line of self-defense that comes with owning a gun. I know plenty of people that keep a shotgun under their bed,
there's the whole self-defense argument.
I know a lot of people that conceal carry because they work in an unsafe part of a city.
Yeah. It's funny because he, as an
Something
Australian,
like that.
he sees Americans are toting guns,
Yeah.
and he brought up the point. He's like, "What kind of world do you live in? You need to be carrying around a gun when you're picking up your kid." That of course he brings up these different things, but it is a pretty funny routine. We'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean the unfortunate reality, not unfortunate, the reality of the situation is there are too many guns in the United States to practically try and take them away from everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's not always like. I think the one thing that a lot of people see is they hear the words, we should do something about, the whole gun thing. And they're like, no, don't touch my guns. They think the government's just going to come and take away all their guns. That's not what any of this is really about. Like, you have to recognize that you can keep your guns. It's not ever saying, people are saying, we're going to take away all your guns and no one has guns.
So devil's advocate here, that's kind of the role I'm trying to play right now here is, devil's advocate is that the slippery slope is a commonly used thing, a commonly made fun of thing, but in some ways it does exist. And the concern is, once again, returning to the registry thing, is you have a registry, and then suddenly they say, well, we have a list of everybody with semi-automatic firearms. We're gonna confiscate those semi-automatic firearms, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, cool, I followed the law and registered my gun, and now I'm getting screwed. Massachusetts has recently outlawed M4 style, or the sale of assault rifle style rifles. And if you have one, you're grandfathered in. But many could argue if they banned the sale of the guns, it's not a far step to ban the guns altogether. And now they have a list of everyone who owns one.
Yeah.
And that's where the registry thing becomes a little scary. But you have to weigh pros and cons here.
That's the problem. It's that's
are the benefits of a gun registry stronger than the disadvantages?
Yeah.
And
it's hard to tell.
Right. And that's what makes this such an interesting.
How much of your privacy are you willing to give up for security? It's that whole privacy versus security.
Right, that's
when 9/11 happened.
The Patriot Act, right after 9/11, the Patriot Act got passed, and most of the American public supported such an act. If there's someone that wants to harm Americans, do whatever it takes to stop them.
Yes, but now as technology is getting better and people are getting smarter about it, it's getting really to the point where they need to invade your personal life to really find, to really detect some of these things sometimes. Right. And that's where the line is drawn.
The funny thing is we get, and this is stepping away from the conversation slightly, but we get all annoyed when we think about the idea of the government's listening to our phone calls, the government's reading our texts. It's a terrible thing, but we're happy to let Google and Amazon and Facebook do all of the things that we hate because they actually work to make our lives a little bit easier. I mean, think about the time. This is a perfect example. There was one time me and James were discussing headlight restoration.
Oh my God, this is the most bizarre thing in the world.
So we were discussing headlight restoration kits. We only discussed this in person. In voice. Neither of us had our phones in our hand when we did it.
We didn't look up anything related to it?
We didn't look anything up. Not a keystroke went into the internet in any way. James logged onto his Facebook later. All the ads were for headlight restoration.
It was the most bizarre thing. It's weird. Like it was. Did I send you like a screenshot? I'm like, guys, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
We didn't like message each other about this, right?
No. Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
And I had the same thing, and it's. There was literally zero data transferred, but it's very clear that our privacy, we're already happy to give our privacy away to corporations. Because think about the reason Google works so well, and it's such a good assistant, same as Siri, same with Amazon's Alexa, is because they listen and they learn, and it's a big AI that does all this stuff. It's not someone going,
yeah, it's not just some guy like listening to all you say exactly.
So the argument is the government doing the same thing to try and protect you, not just make your life easier? Yeah. They're trying to genuinely protect your life.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I brought up earlier with the whole politicians. Like, yes, like the way that they said things or the way that it's all introduced. But at the end of the day, we are people who genuinely care about the American people. Right. And and let's try to work together on this issue instead of just pointing fingers and pooping in our hands and throwing it at each other like monkeys. Like It's just like seriously, that's what I felt like. A few days after.
Hold back this analogy.
No, I know, but afterwards, just like it was just so much hate was coming from both sides of everything. It's just like, come on, guys.
Well, returning to I think, and I actually want to. This is a good place to a good way to wrap this up. Is I think the solution will be found not by name calling and yelling at each other and being steadfast in our ways on either side. I think this is the best solution to really, I don't want to say smooth this stuff out, but prevent stuff like this from happening again, or at least reduce the chance of it, are to work together. Like the country really needs to come together. And again,
everybody needs to.
I think this is something everyone can agree with. It's as idealistic as it sounds, from day-to-day life. If you're someone who is all about gun rights and you don't want to budge an inch, engage in dialogue with somebody who might disagree with you and listen to what they have to say, and they'll listen to what you have to say. Coming together, some form of compromise is the best way to move past this and try and make things better.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is that you live part of being in a democracy is that there's always going to be there's going to be some sense of compromise. You're not always going to be able to say what you want and do this, do that. Like you have to give up. In a free country, you still have to give up some of your freedom to have everything else. It's a safety.
And it's one of those things. There's an old thing. It's like if two people walk away from a compromise happy, something's probably fishy. If two people walk away from a compromise unhappy, it's probably a good compromise.
Yeah, because usually you just have to. It's just sometimes it's just a pill you have to swallow, and it's just like, you know what, this is the harsh reality. This is what it is, and we all have to kind of just learn to.
Yeah, we have to adapt.
But
so this is actually from Danielle, who's about 300 feet away through a bunch of brick walls. But people may argue that you can have your driver's license taken away if you are not capable of maintaining it. The only way to do that is to check in on drivers via the driving record.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's kind of tying back to what gun registry, right?
Yeah.
And exactly like the only thing is that's a right versus a privilege.
That's true.
But it's still opens up.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing. That's too incredibly like you're driving like a 2-ton car. Like
you need a car.
That's incredibly you need one. But it's like these are both things that are. Both
that could be done.
Life-threatening.
Yes.
Like until we made it a law that seatbelts seatbelts weren't a law. They weren't put in cars for the longest time, and now they are, and now it's much safer to drive. And then we keep doing things. We have safety standards for cars to continually try to make them better, so we can minimize collateral damage.
Something that has to be considered. Since the car argument is frequently used. Is at the end of the day, cars were designed to take you from point A to point B to make your life easier, and guns were designed to kill people. Full stop. That is very few guns were designed with the purpose of mass shooting. There are some. I will be the last to say there are not some guns that are designed with the sole purpose of mass shooting. 99.9% of guns out there, and yes, that is a made-up statistic, but it's probably right.
But it's a lot.
Were designed with the primary goal of ending someone else's life. And so that has to be considered when you're talking about the right to own.
Is that you're playing with? That's life. You could take someone's
Not to make
life.
this bring us to a dark place.
It's not or anything, but you have to consider that that's a very real thing. Is that now if you have something like that, that's possibly someone else's life.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So you just have to consider the value.
I finished my AR. No, my ammo. I'm like,
it's like, what are you going to
do something with this?
You can go to the range and shoot.
Obviously, I'm not.
But
it was just
why James will never be president.
Exactly. Yeah, right. Because I just made that one statement. But it was a very. It's something like you can make all these arguments for guns without owning one, but then once you really own one, it just kind of brings you to a different level of understanding about it.
So this does actually bring me to one last thing I want to say, and it's something we discussed before the stream. Is my one wish is that these people, that a lot of the media outlets that really push for the gun control agenda, and I won't just use the word agenda, and I don't mean it in any kind of arbitrary way, just that they want gun control. Fine. I really wish these media outlets would use Google and actually spend some time making sure they know what they're talking about. It really delegitimizes a lot about what they have to say when they call a shotgun an AR-15.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Come on.
But which does raise further concerns as they discuss. We're not going to bring those up right now. But both sides of the equation, gun control and gun right side, should take some time if they're gonna talk about this. Should take some time to fact check themselves and what they're talking about, and just be well informed on every side of the equation. Be well informed and be willing to listen to your counter person. We're all maybe not depending where you're watching this, but we're all Americans, but more so we're all humans.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the thing. Is like we're social creatures, humans.
Right.
So like you're not gonna not talk about it, and by being like a jerk or being a dick or being aggressive or a hater, like
uninformed,
We almost made it without the swear.
Fudge!
We're 1 minute left, Dan.
All right, almost. But at the you can't like, and that's the one thing. Like they've done studies where they were like telling somebody, trying to explain why your side is right, just makes them even more steadfast in their own view.
Listening to somebody is the best way to affect
If people could listen and talk all the time, that would just resolve a lot of problems, man. So just talk about stuff and do things.
But I think that's a good place to wrap up.
Don't shoot other people.
Yeah, that too.
Okay,
Justice with plastic pellets in there.
Yeah, exactly. Unless you're here at extreme.
Unless you have your Airsoft gun. Okay.
Actually, on the whole safety thing, I do want to bring up, please, never bring your real gun to an airsoft field.
If you do that...
It's one of those things I just feel the need to repeat every once in a
never.
while.
Oh my gosh. If you do that...
Because people like to show off their cool guns, I get it. Just please don't.
No.
I don't even know where I would begin to deal with that. I mean, obviously, you leave the facility.
Get the out right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit excessive to bring the cops in on that, but like...
No, yeah, it would be...
it's like, you leave now where the cops
Depends on how the scene... Depending on how it goes.
But
don't bring your real gun to
we not
an
treat that up.
airsoft.
This is
so bad.
So this is a good place to wrap up that discussion, I think, though. We still need to do our closing announcements for any of you that tuned in, not at the very beginning of the stream. So I'll let James take that away.
What?
We have some...
What?
Yeah, right? James, unprepared. That happens.
I hope he remembers what I talked about.
So we have some events coming up. Hopefully he gets the right dates this time.
That too.
God.
That's why I quadruple checked.
So we have some events coming up. Some really cool ones at that. And yeah, they bring up the our main one coming up. So we've got adult nights coming up. We've got
so the 20th is
really
Shotgun
a
Night.
better name for adult night.
Yeah.
Adult Swim? I don't know. Adult Arena? So the 20th is Pistol Shotgun Night. That's Friday night. And then the night after is Adult Night. That goes from 6 to midnight. Every year or every week or month. I'm sorry, it gets better and better. Definitely worth trying that one out. And then the next weekend on Sunday, the 29th, is Off Transylvanian Terror. That is a Halloween-themed event that is going to be on a Sunday. Pre-registration is live. Save $5, skip the line, and get to choose the team that you play on for that day. So that should be a lot of fun. Check more information about that under the event registration tab on our page. And lastly, Nerf Night is returning for those of you who have kids or who are super young and watch our podcast. You guys are awesome too. That is November 1st. Is the first Nerf night, and also one thing I want to note about that is, let's see. So show up in your Halloween costume that night because it is the day after Halloween, and you get free dinner.
So
show up in your Halloween costume. Halloween falls on a Tuesday, Wednesday night. Show up in your Halloween costume.
$10 to get 2.5 hours of Nerf Plus free dinner.
So what's the price? Has the pricing changed since last year?
It's still $10 a head, and then we also, let's see, we still do the full car discount. So how that works is, let's say you have 3 people. So you have
to overcomplicate.
Yeah, I'm going to overcomplicate this, so I'm just going to explain it like this. So 3 people. The first person will, the first person's admission is $10. The second person's admission is $9, and the third person's admission is $8, and it goes all the way down to $5. So the theoretically the 6th person will only have to pay $5. How you determine to divvy that up and pay for it, that's all up to you. But that is the full card discount. So show up, bring your friends, bring your neighbors. The age limit is 13 and under. There is no minimum age, and how we do that is we split it up.
Yep. So the benefit of having a U-shaped field.
Heck yeah. So 2/3 of the field goes to the bigger kids. Normally ages 7 and up, and ages 6 and under get their own separate part of the field with our own referee. Like, you know, that's the younger kids. If the younger kids wish to play with the older kids, they have to let us know. Usually the parent has to let us know if that's what
I'm
they
going to
do.
run for 5 seconds. If you're still watching and you're about to turn stuff off, don't. Because I want to bring up something very important as soon as James is done.
I think I was just about done.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
They're going to be great.
So we've been talking about this idea lately, especially James and Lenny and all them, is would you guys, and please let us know here, be interested in tactical dodgeball?
Yes,
And
we will be
tactical-
opening up a survey on that.
Right, so look for that for sure. We're going to be doing or hopefully doing a tactical dodgeball league, where I believe we talked about splitting the field in two. Again, This is what reminded me. And there's dodgeball leagues all around, some in Mass, Connecticut, Rhode Island. This one's going to be a little different, but kind of similar. Just don't put that on my computer screen if you don't mind. I like having a laptop that works. So, gun safety, guys. So like I was saying, is this will be, I believe the field will be slightly moved in order to make this more applicable, right?
Yeah.
But it'll be league style play over several weeks with like a bracket and some kind of, we haven't decided on yet, but some kind of prize at the end, right?
Most likely be like a gift card to a really good restaurant.
Right, it won't necessarily even be like Airsoft related prize. That way anybody can play. But if you or you have friends who think you might be interested in that, please let us know. Because like, think about it, it's like dodgeball's already kind of a lot of fun. And now you have things like cover to deal with. It just adds a cool new element to this that
I'm really curious.
that be interesting. So it'll probably be like a weekly thing on like a Monday or Tuesday night, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe a Thursday night or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're still working out the details. But in all seriousness, please let us know if you're interested in that. The more interest we have, the cooler we can make it. Like James said, we'll be throwing out a survey soon. It seemed to work really well for adult night. It'll work with this as well. But with that, I think we're ready to wrap. Is there anything I missed?
No, I think
We're ready to rap. I don't know, but I'm about to clap because I'm bad at
Really bad.
rapping.
I'm just about to click next.
Rapping.
just
No,
go
When
that's
my
not
internet
really-
has really high ping, it makes me rage,
And suck at work.
and I go and suck at War Thunder. But when I go in for that plunder to attack
But-
the tank,
alright, we're good.
don't
Hey,
look at
guys,
my rank
if you
because
guys-
I'm on fire, bro.
If you guys
So-
play War Thunder, you should totally join me and James playing.
Yes.
It's
Play video games with Des and James. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
the
It's kind of a lot of fun for real.
Yeah. PC only. None of you amateurs.
Well, to be fair, actually, PS4 and PC play on the same servers.
Really?
Yeah. So like, you're playing against people, and they can be on PlayStation 4.
I did not know that.
What?
PC gamers and PlayStation
Well, we
gamers.
rap with mice.
Nerd.
And yeah, so with that though, thank you very much for tuning in. It was actually a really fun stream.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed
I
this
think-
one.
I think that was a
If
good
you
one.
have more you want to talk about, this is actually a pretty significant discussion. If you have more you want to talk about, throw it in the comments. We'll be watching the comments, responding to them like always. Facebook and YouTube all the same. YouTube's a little better for us to be able to respond more. It's just a little cleaner.
Yes.
And if you guys like this topic, maybe we'll bring it up again another week or something like that. Or as always, if you guys have any topics you want us to chat about, throw it in the comments. Maybe we'll do it next week or something like that. I think we need to do an HBA stream again. Like there's been a lot of talk and some new products since our last one. So we'll do that sometime soon. It's been like 6 months.
Oh, Jesse said my rapping skills are cringy.
Yeah.
Well, she's right. So you can't really
It's cringy, but don't be stingy.
Okay.
Son.
Bye, guys.
I got that flow of a monster.